Are you planning to move to Panama, start applying for a visa, and maybe send your kids to school to Panama? Well, probably or most likely you will need to authenticate your documents that comes from your country of origin. And today's video, I'm going to show you how you can do this using the apostille or the Panamanian consulate in your country of origin. My name is Giovanna Bernal. I'm a Panama attorney with more than 20 years of experience. Let's get started. Any official documents or private documents that are issued outside Panama will need to have an additional type of stamp or authentication, where we call it legalization, on those documents to be official or acceptable for using them in Panama. For example, if you're applying for a visa, you will have to show a background check. That background check will need this type of authentication that we call apostille. Apostille is a type of authentication from the Hague Convention from the 60s. And this type of authentication allows a lot of countries to recognize the signature of an official from a country to be submitted that document in another country. So therefore, this is why it's important for international business, for applying for visas, to be part of this Hague Convention. Most of the countries are part of this apostille program, like Canada, the United States, many of the Latin American countries, the European Union, and some other countries also in Asia. And if by any reason your country is not part of this convention, you can also use a Panamanian consulate. Also, if your country is part of the Hague Convention, but still a Panamanian consulate helps, is easier because it's near you, or you know the process easier than the apostille, you're free to go. You can choose either way. Either type of authentication is acceptable in Panama. And basically what you need to do is, if you are providing an official document, for example, a marriage certificate, it has a signature. It has a signature from the registrar, so you can provide that document directly to a Panamanian consulate or to the apostille foreign affairs authorities in your country. But if the document doesn't have any signature, the consular section in Panama or the foreign affairs or Department of State, they cannot do the apostille because they have no signature to authenticate. Remember that what we're doing is authenticating signatures, and if there's no signature on a document, it might be quite difficult to authenticate an official signatures if there's no signature. Therefore, what can be done is that the document can be notarized, and in some cases the applicant will sign an affidavit or a wording where they certify that the document is valid. In some other cases, the notary will authenticate that the certified copy or the document is valid as well. So it really depends on the country you live and their rules, but in any case, in order for a document to be apostille or authenticated, it will need to show an official signature. For example, if it's an FBI background check, it has a signature. It's not, most of the time, it's not an original signature, it doesn't matter, but the document needs to show a valid signature. Some of the Social Security verification letters or letter from the Department of Defense in the US, these documents don't show any signature. So most of the time what I see is that the notary is part of this authentication process before the applicant sends the document to the Panamanian consular section or the apostille through the Department of State in the US. So if you have another experience, if you want to share, you're free to share your experience and under the comments. That would be very interesting, for us to to understand how it works in your country. But basically, this is the process like in Canada. They, for many years, they were not part of the Hague Convention, so they couldn't do apostille. But since this year, it is possible to get apostille of documents. So it's good to check if you're in Canada, what way it's easier for you. Just to know the timing, the cost, and what's best in your province. Same applies in the United States. It's good to know whether in your state there is a Panamanian consulate near you, or if you have to mail documents to them, or whether if it's easy to hire a company that does the apostille for you, or perhaps upload the documents through the Department of State website and wait for the documents to be ready. There are different ways, and the U.S. have many Panamanian consulates. Of course, they have their jurisdictions to legalize documents. But if you are near them, for example, if you are in Georgia, you can use the Panamanian consulate in Tampa or the one in Washington. The one in Washington can receive all documents in the U.S. because the embassy is there. But yes, you can decide depending, because it really depends. I know, for example, in Europe, the apostille is quite common, and it's easy. It's like in Panama, we do apostille in one day by just going there in person and they put a stamp. Maybe in some other European countries, they do the digital apostille, like in Colombia, it's also digital. So we are okay by receiving copies. But if the apostille or the authentication is in original, the document needs to be sent to Panama in original by courier or in your hands. That's super important because the immigration office do not accept copies, only if the country that authenticates documents have this type of digital QR code apostille or certification type. Remember that the documents, they need to be translated, but this is something that is done in Panama by an authorized public translator. If there is no translator in Panama, because some of the languages, maybe we don't have a translator, then the document needs to be translated in the country of origin. And this is it. I hope it helped, but if you're interested in learning more on whether your documents are good to go or not, we can definitely help you. We can help you in your visa process. What we do is that we check carefully that the documents are good and in order, that the authentications are also good, the stamps, everything. Because sometimes, people make mistakes, and we don't want you to come to Panama and bring documents that are not correct, and then you just spend money and time. So I advise you that you can check as your attorney, as the person that is helping you doing the process, to verify that the documents are correct, that they are notarized, or if they don't need notary, and also if they have the right stamps on it. That's super important. Finally, I would like to invite you to like and share this video, subscribe to this channel, follow us on social media, and if you're interested in learning more about our services, you can always click in the description below with the Zoom consultation. Bye bye.